Yeah, what's going on, guys? Seth Spartan. Guys, today we're going to be talking about something extremely important, and I wish I would have known the answer to this many, many years ago. So let's dive into it. What are we talking about today? Today, guys, we're going to be talking about why high testosterone causes insomnia. So this can also be applied to not just high testosterone, but high doses of anabolic steroids in general, or anytime you have a high influx of androgens. So guys, let's talk about this. So why does high testosterone or high anabolic steroids cause insomnia? So let's break this down real quick here, guys. All right, it comes down really at the root of this whole thing comes down to one word really, and that is androgens, none other than androgens. So in the case of testosterone, the main androgen that we're going to be talking about is DHT, also known as dihydrotestosterone. Most of you guys already probably know this, but in the human body, testosterone converts into DHT, dihydrotestosterone, via the 5-alpha reductase enzyme, right? Grabs onto testosterone, converts it into DHT, spits DHT out, all right? So DHT has very, very little effect on muscle mass. However, it is about 3 to 4 times as androgenic as testosterone. So if we're talking about body hair growth, deepening of the voice, secondary sex characteristics in general, this is going to be from DHT, not testosterone directly. Testosterone is more involved in things like muscle mass. One other thing to note with DHT, guys, DHT is also the main androgen in the male body, in the human body, responsible for fat burning too. DHT attaches onto fat tissue and stimulates the release of fat cells. So, forgetting all of that, let's address the point of this video, right? So, why high testosterone causes insomnia? So, why does high testosterone cause insomnia? Let's take myself for an example here, right? I was prescribed at one point 500 milligrams of testosterone cypionate per week through my doctor, all right? And I can talk about the details of that later, all right? But having said that, 500 milligrams of pharmaceutical prescription testosterone cypionate put me at about right around 3,000 total testosterone. Close to that, all right? So at that level, that's about, give or take, about 3 times what maybe a 21-year-old male would have, all right? So that's quite a bit. So at that level, one thing I noticed, and the people that have done high testosterone, whether it's 500 or 1,000 or whatever you've done, again, do everything safely, legally, under doctor supervision, but if anybody has done high testosterone, they know that their sleep takes a hit. It is harder to fall asleep. It's harder to stay asleep. Why? Androgens. In the case of testosterone, this is DHT. And in the case of anabolic steroids in general, this is going to depend on whatever specific compound. But let's talk about why this causes insomnia. So androgens. Here's the short answer for you guys, all right? Here's a short answer. Androgens, in the case of testosterone, this is DHT, as we talked about. The androgens in the bloodstream are going to react with the central nervous system, and specifically your brain stem, all right? Whether it's DHT or other strong androgens, depending if you're using anabolic steroids, this is going to directly stimulate the central nervous system and the brain stem. Now, in one way, it's good in the sense that you're going to have powerful central nervous system stimulation that's going to cause huge increases in energy, drive, passion, libido, things like strength, all right, power output, things like this. So in these things, it's good. But the problem is too much of androgens in general, too much DHT in the case of testosterone, this is going to have a problem because when the androgens are binding to the CNS, the central nervous system, by specifically the brainstem, what's going to happen is that this is going to keep you awake. It's going to be harder to fall asleep and harder to stay asleep. If your wife moves, you're going to pop awake. If there's a fly that lands, you're going to wake up. All right, so your body is always in, your body is, you're stronger, faster, you have more drive, more energy, and you're more aware. You're more aware, your reflexes are quicker. But the problem is that it's, in the case of sleep, it's going to be easier. It's going to be much easier to wake up and harder to stay asleep just because of that central nervous stimulation and the brainstem. So the obvious solution to this, guys, is none other than decrease the dosage, all right? Whatever dose of testosterone, decrease it. And if you're at what's considered a healthy dose of testosterone long-term, I'm Seth Spartan. I'm doing 250 milligrams of testosterone cypionate through my clinic Prometheus HRT per week, all right? Through my doctor. You guys can use my code Spartan if you want to save some cash and go through my clinic. But that's what I'm doing, and my testosterone levels fluctuating just a little bit over the top of the normal range, 1,300, 1,400, all right? So I feel great, but even at that dosage, it's harder to fall asleep and stay asleep than normal. Than, if I was at, we'll just say, 800, 1,000, okay? So something, I can stay there. That's fine, as long as I'm watching my health, that's not a big deal. But something that you can do, as long as, if backing down dosage isn't an option, then something you can do is melatonin. You want to get really good quality melatonin. In the United States, it's a little bit harder because melatonin is a hormone, which the FDA labels as a dietary supplement. Explain that one to me, go figure. But in the US, there's a lot of bad melatonin supplements that actually contain serotonin, which can keep you up if you take too much of it. So what you want to do is you want to use nature-made melatonin. That's the best quality melatonin that I have been able to find. So use nature-made, and typically, I would experiment. I would do anywhere from, we'll just say anywhere from 2 to 10 milligrams a night. And typically what I do is I take most of my dose, maybe 3/4 of my dose. I'll take maybe, we'll just ballpark here. I'll take maybe like 6 milligrams before bed-ish, depending on what kind of night I'm having. But typically I'm going to take most of my dose before I go to bed, and then I'll take a smaller dose when I wake up in the middle of the night, all right? Just to keep it in my system. Otherwise, you guys can kind of experiment taking your whole dose before bed, taking half and half when you wake up in the middle of the night or whatever. But the bottom line is that melatonin is going to be something that you're going to want to utilize if you want to stay at a higher test dosage and you're having trouble sleeping. If you're not having trouble sleeping, don't touch it unless you're trying to get greater growth hormone, because we know melatonin greatly increases growth hormone levels. That's something for a completely different video, all right? All right, but guys, why high testosterone causes insomnia? Basically just comes down to androgens stimulating the central nervous system, specifically the brain stem. So either back down your dosage, use some melatonin. But guys, honestly, if you're somebody who's using 500 milligrams and you're just trying to buffer the side effects with sleep aids, not a good idea, guys. Not a good idea. Just because you're going to have long-term health problems because of that. If we're talking specifically increased plaque buildup in the arteries and also heart wall thickening. It's the thickening of the heart wall, making the heart more ineffective. Guys, stay safe, stay healthy. This is why high testosterone causes insomnia. And guys, we are out of here. Boom.